SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
William Carey University Athletics.
Every sport you find exciting.
Crusader Talk.
Crusader Talk. And now.
This is Crusader Talk. Crusader Talk. We're covering everything William Carey University Athletics. From the field to the court and the diamond on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and SuperTalkHattiesburg.com.
And welcome, everyone, to Crusader Talk. Glad you're with us here on this Monday. Caleb Hamill, Josh West, Dalton Stanford behind the board, making all things happen for us on this here radio/podcast program. Now, we got a lot to get to, as we normally do. Baseball and softball winding down their regular seasons. Tennis, well, they just wrapped up tournament play. That can only mean one thing, Josh.
I think I know what that is.
A very certain thing happened, and I think if we have it, we can. We have a little song that likes to tell us all about exactly what we are. You know, it helps if I choose the right source here to make it play right here. This is live radio. This is what you get when you come over to this here show. Is that you get things like this. Not only champions for men's and women's tennis. We mentioned the regular season title they got before the season was even over. But they sweep their way through the SSAC tournament. Both sides picking up the wins. I think the women only gave up one loss of any point in the entire thing. Men completely 6-0, 6-0, or 4-0, 4-0, because I don't think they completed on some of those that were in progress. But just a phenomenal showing by Coach Lux and his group. And then kind of a shocker in a way with just how quickly it happened for us all. But due to some other things happening around the league, William Carey softball regular season SSAC champions after splitting on the weekend with Tennessee Southern. They swept Blue Mountain. And even before they had to face off against Mobile again, already regular season champions.
Doesn't it feel good? I mean, that's kind of for softball back where they belong. Doesn't it feel that way?
It does. I reposted it and I called it the Hogue effect. Yeah, and that's not any slight to Coach Fletcher and what he was able to do, but man, just having
he's
her
still very much there.
He is very much still involved, but to have Coach Hogue there, she has really made a huge impact early on. But to start us off on the show today, we are privileged to be joined by one of those champions that we just mentioned from the women's tennis team under direction of head coach Mark Lux. It's Victoria Vieten out of Dusseldorf, Germany, a Crusader through and through. Victoria, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Victoria, this is Caleb. My co-host is Josh West. And first of all, we like to start this way, especially with first-time appearers on the show, but especially for you as an international student. What led you to come to William Carey in the first place?
So as you said already, I'm from Germany. And for me, it was definitely, I would say, not the usual story, the way to come to William Carey. And so I was at a different school before, at a D2 in Florida. And I didn't get along there with my coach as I thought I would. And so whenever I was transferring or seeking to transfer, I was looking for a place where I could just grow as a tennis player, but also as a person. I felt like William Carey was a very good fit because my coach, Coach Mark, is also from Germany, and that helped me, just feel like home directly at the beginning. And I feel like, we just had a good understanding because we're from the same place. And overall, I would just say William Carey just felt like a school or like a place that I could grow as a person more besides tennis, and I could just call it home pretty quick because of the people and the community that I have here.
That's excellent, and very good to hear that you found home here at William Carey. I wanted to ask about your tennis background as well, because everybody that comes to William Carey in athletics has at some point or another found that sport that fits them best before they've kind of made it part of their collegiate career. And for you, at what age do you feel like tennis really became it for you?
So I would say, I started playing tennis when I was 6 years old, pretty young, because my brother played tennis and then my family played tennis. So I just grew up around tennis. And whenever I was 9 years old, I started playing like a little bit more tournaments, and I really, really liked the competitiveness of tennis. And at that age already, I would say I hated to lose matches, and that just like helped me, to just improve my level until today actually. And whenever I came to the US, I feel like that's whenever a lot of love for tennis came, because in Germany tennis is more like an individual sport, and here it became for me like a team sport, and that I would say really gave me new excitement for tennis, and it even felt like a different version of tennis for me. And that I would say made me fall in love with tennis definitely on another level again. And then another event that happened for me personally is I committed my life to God last October. And I would say whenever I started believing in God last October, that's whenever a lot changed for me with tennis-wise, but also obviously in life in general, just in the way like that I approach everything, and it just helped me stay more focused and to really give everything in everything that I do, especially on the court, but also off the court, for my teammates, just to be there for all of them. And I would say that's when a lot for me changed with tennis.
I want to hear more about this story, because that is huge, and we've seen different William Carey athletes come to saving faith in Christ in their time here in Hattiesburg. What was that moment like for you in the journey coming to faith?
So at the beginning, I would say it was definitely not an easy journey, because I didn't grow up in a Christian family. So whenever I came to Carey, that was kind of the first time I was more surrounded by people that believed in God, especially also being at a Christian school. But I didn't really pay attention to it for the first 3 years that I've been here, or 2.5 years nearly. And last October, whenever I had one conversation with a friend, and that just made me pretty curious, and I just wanted the same peace as he was talking with, and it was definitely not an easy journey, because my whole team, we don't have a lot of believers in the team, but I just see it as a challenge, I would say, to just share my journey with them and share the faith with them, as me being one of the only believers in the team.
That's amazing, and it's kind of representative of our world to know that a lot of times you're in a minority when it comes to being a believer in a world full of either fully non-believers or at times people that are completely lukewarm or just Christians at the surface level. In your senior year, obviously you've still got a lot of good work ahead of you. Still with postseason coming up in tennis, and then just the remainder of your academic career at William Carey. I'm going to let Josh ask you just a couple questions, perhaps about that, or perhaps about the tennis side of things, because not only is that excellent in your character of who you are, but it's also the fact that you're an awesome tennis player from a results standpoint that have made you a well-rounded person at William Carey. I'll let Josh take it away.
Now, do we only have one more minute left with her?
Well, I'll tell you what, Victoria, would you mind staying with us for another segment, or at least after the 2-minute break coming back and talking with us?
Yes, of course. I'm free.
Okay, so Victoria, I want to go with this. From we've got 1 minute left, and about a minute and a half in the segment. Got a minute for this answer. From the cultural standpoint of Germany to America, there's so many internationals at the I guess would be the secondary level into the university level that are international exchange students. The America-Germany connection now. How is America viewed internationally? I'm just curious. That's just me as a curiosity standpoint. As the world changes, how has that connection stayed strong between Germany and America?
So whenever I first came over here, I would say it was pretty easy for me, and I know I have a lot of friends that went already to the US before to study here. So for me, it wasn't really new. It wasn't too challenging, I would say. I definitely see a change there, for sure, politically wise also now, and it's getting tougher to get visas. But yeah, a lot of students, especially athletes, still try to come over here because the system of college and sports at the same time is just way better here, I would say, than it is in Europe, because you can combine it very well here.
We're talking with Victoria Vieten, star women's tennis player at William Carey University, SSAC regular season and tournament champion at William Carey. More coming up with her as we continue on to this championship edition of Crusader Talk. Stay with us.
From the coaches to the student athletes and the fans that cheer them on, you're listening to Crusader Talk on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and supertalkhattiesburg.com.
All right, continuing on Crusader Talk with Victoria Vieten, star women's tennis player at William Carey and new believer as well. Glad to have her with us on today's episode as we celebrated SSAC tournament and regular season championships for both men's and women's tennis, and also a regular season title for softball. So we kind of left off talking about the journey from Germany out to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Not a direct journey at all. In fact, it's been a story of journeys for Victoria coming to William Carey. But one thing that can be assured is that in her time at William Carey, she has certainly let that competitive nature that she mentioned to us earlier come out in full force. I remember at our annual little Hall of Fame dinner banquet that we have for William Carey sports, we usually induct a player or 3 or 4. And with that, one of my duties as MC of that event is I have to give a basic full year recap, or at least a recap of what has happened in athletics since the last time we all gathered together. And one of the things that stood out to me last year, as a matter of fact, was Victoria and what she was able to do for William Carey. Her, along with Isabella Lechuga, went a completely undefeated season in doubles last season for William Carey. They continue on in their successes this year, having won just about every single one of their doubles matches, sans 2 that I have in front of me right now, one of which was one of very little consequence because at that point Carey had already wrapped up the regular season title. But Victoria, not only have you been really great in doubles, especially with Isabella as of late, but also a great singles player as well. Does that number 1 spot in tennis, which if you're unfamiliar, folks out there listening, tennis ranks their players and matches them up numbers 1 through 6, top down, 1 being your best player down to 6 against the 1 through 6 of the other team as well. And then you also have ranked doubles pairings as well. But all that to be number 1 on both sides as you go toe-to-toe with your opponents, does that pressure ever get to you, or is this something you just take in stride?
I would say I really don't feel too much pressure playing at the number 1 spot. Obviously, in my freshman year or my first season, it definitely got to me sometimes. But yeah, as I'm a senior now, I would say I just handle it, and I would also say Coach Mark and the team as well. They really don't put any pressure on me. And obviously, there's always moments during the match where you maybe feel it a little bit or you're nervous. But I would say, all in all, I really enjoy it, and I like having that responsibility. Because it just pushes me to like raise my level against the people, against my opponents, and to just improve my matches.
So for those that are not familiar with the format of collegiate tennis, you'll play the doubles point first, which is you have 3 matches going on the court at the same time, and whichever team ends up with 2 of the 3 victories, they earn the doubles point to start the match before you play the 6 singles matches. So it becomes a tone setter for the entire match to get that doubles point, and it helps put you in an advantage. And I want to ask you, Victoria, for you and getting to play now for at least 2 seasons with Isabella on that first court, how has that chemistry been for the two of you, and how do you feed off each other's energy when you go out there trying to, like I said, set the tone of a match?
So since I know Isabella now for 3 years already, so this is actually already my 3rd season playing with her. It's been great, and we are friends also off the court, which helps a lot because you just know each other so well. You know where the person is playing the ball, if she takes the ball or not. And it just makes it easier to understand each other on the court, I would say. And you always play the best tennis whenever you have fun and you enjoy. And getting to play with your best friend here, it's just amazing. You can definitely see it when we play. We have fun, and that makes us play better.
Victoria, fun, friendship, the chemistry of this team and your years together. Is it as simple as that because of the success this year, or does it go deeper than that? What is the true recipe for success? Is it even a little more complex than it may appear on the surface?
I think, one of the biggest reasons is definitely our team culture. We all get along very well. A lot of us are internationals, so we are all away from home, and we're kind of like a second family here. But on the other side, we also have 4 seniors, including me this year. And that also makes a difference because, in tough situations or tight matches, we just have that extra experience over playing a freshman maybe on the other side. And just because we've been through it before, we just stay a little bit more confident in those situations this season. And then we as well added one thing this season actually. We use an app called Tennispreneur, where we just reflect our matches. We can journal our matches and just write down what we want to improve, what we did well in the matches, what we didn't do well in the matches, and our coach gets the chance to read it and to respond to it. And that helps him to be more aware of what he has to plan for practices and how he can improve the practices and ourselves on the court.
And Victoria, before we wrap this segment, I wanted to get one more thought. Your experience from tennis being at such a elevated level in German culture, in your family, you being so traveled and experienced internationally with the game of tennis, how has that benefited you and your teammates coming over and playing in this league?
It definitely helps a lot. Before I came over to the US, I played a lot of tournaments already in Germany. And just to get that experience I played nearly, I would say, every second weekend at least, maybe even every weekend, sometimes tournaments in Germany for the past 3-4 years before I came to the US. And just to have this match practice definitely helped a lot. And then being away from family is tough, but at the same time, you're here for a purpose, and you're here to get better at tennis. You came here because of tennis and to get that experience, and because you're not at home, you maybe put a little bit of extra work in because you don't spend your weekends at home. You have the time here on the weekends. You maybe don't spend it with your family. You maybe go another time on the court and just practice because you have that extra time. So, yeah, that definitely helps. And it also helps a lot of people in our team, as a lot of people are internationals in my team.
Victoria, final question for you. Thanks so much for joining us as well on this podcast episode. But as a senior, you pointed out a certain word in that last response. I wanted to key on it. You used the word purpose. And as somebody that is wrapping up their collegiate career, that's something that is going to be kind of a header to what you're pursuing moving forward. And I wanted to ask you, just from your perspective, from what you've learned at William Carey and here stateside, what is next for you as you continue to pursue your purpose, either through the game of tennis or through the things you've learned in life?
So college tennis definitely taught me a lot of things in life. Not just tennis-wise, but also, it just made me a different person. My next step is going to be that I have one more year of eligibility left. So I will take the challenge and step outside of my comfort zone one more time. And I will continue and do my master's at a school in Texas, MSU, Texas. It's a D2 school. And a pretty good ranked one. So I just felt like I needed another opportunity, another challenge for me to grow a little bit more tennis-wise, but also to step outside of my comfort zone one more time. And since they're pretty good ranked in tennis, I just feel like I can grow there in tennis a little bit more.
Hey, that's excellent. And, hey, never let success cause you to stop trying to grow. I know you already have that competitive mindset. You're going to continue on and do great things. And congratulations again on the start of your faith journey. We look forward to seeing great things from God through you in the days ahead. Victoria, again, thanks so much for joining us here on this episode.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it a lot.
All right, that is Victoria Vieten, women's tennis SSAC champion. Hey, by the way, most recently, the NAIA National Player of the Week and their final Player of the Week honor of this 2026 spring season. So hats off to Victoria and the accolades that she's been able to collect this year. I am sure she is not done yet. So coming up, we've got a couple clips to play for you as far as our other champions on the week. The William Carey softball team, SSAC regular season title holders. They have locked in the number 1 seed for the upcoming tournament. We'll hear from Coach Wendy Hogue and also pitcher Ryan Hornsby. So stay with us. You're listening to Crusader Talk.
You're listening to Crusader Talk on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and SuperTalkHattiesburg.com.
All right, great interview with Victoria Vieten for us to start off the show. Just tremendous talent. I don't think you can fully understand who we were talking to when it comes to her success in tennis alone at this level in the NAIA, because depending on where you're looking, on Carey's website, she hasn't lost a match for William Carey except for the first match of the year against Southeastern. She's on a winning streak there. If you look at a different source, they have a couple other matches that were kind of like neutral games, possibly in late October, early February or something. Actually, I think it's a fall season plus spring. So in the spring that she is undefeated since that opening week loss to Southeastern. That's what it is. So overall in the 25-26 academic athletic year, she is 23-2, winning 92% of her singles matches.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And again, her and Isabella, fantastic doubles team, went undefeated last year as far as winning their side of the doubles point, and have been pretty stout this year as well. Just
I'm showing 12-2.
Yeah, just a pair of losses. A 6-4 loss to Tennessee Southern, then lost 6-0 to Xavier, which is Xavier. Great tennis team. They've been a part of the SSAC for a number of years in that sport. They'll be joining as full-fledged members of the conference beginning next athletic year. So we look forward to their full-time membership, even though it doesn't really change
That's
the tennis
be
side.
So much fun.
I think it's going to be fun, especially with soccer and basketball.
Oh, yes.
Baseball, we'll see what happens there. Softball, I haven't really reminded myself of what they've been able to do on the dirt diamond, but nevertheless, I think Xavier is a strong addition coming to our conference. And as far as the other two Georgia schools, we'll see if Carey continued to pile up wins against Georgia schools. Anyway, speaking of wins, softball, a fantastic weekend. They did split with Tennessee Southern, as I mentioned, but still, to go 3-1 on the weekend en route to an SSAC regular season title is just impressive.
And to sweep a Blue Mountain team that sweeps Mobile, a top 5 RPI team, on a pair of walk-offs.
That's right. So Josh caught up with Coach Wendy Hogue earlier today and just chatted with her about the preseason goals to now having a regular season championship under their belt before we even reach postseason play. This is what she had to say.
And, we talk a lot about goals, and we didn't necessarily – everybody wants to win a championship, but we didn't set that, hey, this is our goal, and then this one. We set goals that we can controllables, and then if we will take care of those, then those big picture goals are going to take care of themselves. So that's kind of what we actually talked about that on Friday morning about how – and I don't know why I was led to this scripture, but we talked about how trials – produce perseverance, character, and then character, hope. And I just remember saying, I'm not sure why we're talking about this. Let's just get out there. Let's do what we do. So Friday's games, it was fun. It's always fun to play Blue Mountain, our sister Baptist institution here. And speaking of sisters, we've got twins. Our Julia Shaw has a twin sister, Jana, on Blue Mountain. So that's kind of the atmosphere is always light, but competitive when we play them. I think they're a classy team. So we came out and we swung the bats well and we threw well. And when you do those things, it's good things are going to happen. So we did let that second game was what I thought we were getting to with the trials, because the second game, we had a big lead, and then they came back. And we just kept chipping away, but then they kept chipping. We would score, they would score, we'd score. But then they mounted that comeback. So it was really cool to have to dig deep and pull a win out, because everything's been so close these last few games. And that one we had a pretty good lead, and then when they came back, and so that was pressure. I remember telling the girls afterwards, and one of them said, "Hey, I never felt like we weren't going to win that game." And I said, "Well, I felt like I was going to throw up those last 3 innings there." And normally I don't do that, but that was the intensity of that game. And then going in the next day to UT Southern, knowing that we sweep UT Southern, and we had not played our best here. We didn't hit well. They've got excellent pitching. Go in there and win that first game pretty good. And we knew that because of Jana and Julia, we knew Blue Mountain had beat Mobile that first game. So it was one of those, hey, we win this one and we're good. But, hey, we got to bring it. We got to bring it. Well, pitcher got the best of us. You can't score a run. It's hard to win a ball game when you can't score a run. So we had that, and I remember after the game, we talked about, hey, nobody tried not to hit. Nobody tried. I felt like we were doing everything that we could, and we got beat that game. I don't think we lost. I think we got beat that game. And then to leave, Josh, we weren't even gone from the field yet, and somebody said, hey, Blue Mountain's up 4-0 in the 7th. And it was almost like, okay, God, I got you. We could do what we do. We control what we control. We give it our very best, and there's always going to be that hope. We weren't expecting. We thought we were going to have to go into this next weekend and take at least one to guarantee that regular season. But because of the body of work that we had put into leading into Saturday, we were able to take one on the chin and still come away with a championship. So I'm so proud of these girls and their effort from day one. Just proud of them.
I catch you on a day that's an extra reps day. I get out and get a chance to see the team working on defensive reps, getting extra time in on a lot of different things. And this is the time of the season where there's not a lot of time left to tighten everything up for Mobile, which is the ultimate rivalry just right down the road. Then right into the conference tournament, the opening round, and then you hope the World Series. There's a lot coming up in a short amount of time, and it's go time.
You're exactly right. Go time. That's it. And we want to, we just want to enjoy every single day of it. But what I don't want to do is get to any of those things you just talked about: the Mobile game, conference tournament, opening round. Fortunate enough to make it to the World. I don't want to get to any of those and say, "Gosh, we didn't do this, and we didn't do this, and we didn't give them an opportunity to do this." So that's why we're just putting in the work, and we're not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything. We're just continuing to put in the work, and we are going to have to pick up the intensity level because once we get into the conference tournament this week, we lost our midweek. Stillman canceled on us, so we're preparing for 2 games this week. 2 weeks ago, it was 2 games. Well, now we're getting to where we're going to have to play possibly 2 Thursday, possibly 2 Friday, and then turn around a championship on Saturday. Same thing happens in the opening round and all. So the pace of the season changes a little bit. So go time is a good way to put it right there. But I think this group's ready. I think the seniors are hungry to finish strong. Not hungry to finish, but to finish strong. And the fact that they were all out here working today and all wanting to take extra reps from the first minute to the last minute, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and it comes through in the form of results.
33-10, 17-3 in the league. I was showing you during those sound bites. You've got a first-team All-American in Jaden Sawyer right now, .81 ERA, 20-2 record, 210 strikeouts,
leading the country in that category.
She is averaging almost a strikeout every other batter, and again, team ERA 1.68, and hers is under 1.
That's third in the country, just behind Southeastern in Science and Arts.
Albany Facel leads the country in caught stealing percentage, the catcher behind the plate.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. I mean, as an absolute, cannon of an arm behind the plate. And then the team batting average, it's at 317. It maybe is 20 or 30 points lower than they want it, but it is still solid, and they find a way to manufacture runs. So I thought it was interesting. Kinley noted that the 2 games getting canceled with Stillman. She said, "Mom, I got two less games." It's setting in for Kinley and for Wendy that it's coming to a close, their run. This has been bonus year for them, but they're trying not to get emotional about it. And they have to be coach and player and not mom and daughter. And she's having a fight back. Wendy said, "I'm having a fight back being mom." But we still got to hear from Ryan. But it is coming to a close for them. And so that's an emotional storyline to watch and enjoy as this thing continues.
That's right. Josh caught up with Ryan Hornsby earlier today, and this is what she had to say on being a conference champion this year.
It's awesome. We fought really hard. We beat good teams in our conference, and we didn't lose a lot, which was good. And setting us up in the beginning of conference season helped us towards the end. So it's been a cool journey. We've worked really hard, and I'm just excited.
Last year, the word that was missing was consistency. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for you as a pitcher and the team, it was win-loss. Mm-hmm. And it was just a year that was an up-and-down year. This year, from a consistency standpoint, you look like the Ryan Hornsby of a couple of years ago. And I know it's weird to talk about yourself in third person, but you getting back to what you knew you were capable of. Mm-hmm. What was the difference this year for you to be able to be on go all the time and have your best stuff every time you step into the circle?
I've done a lot of mental work this year that I haven't necessarily done in the past. So I've worked really hard on my mental game, staying strong and confident in what I know I can do and what I know my team can do behind me. So that's helped a lot to stay consistent. And it also helps a lot having a true staff as well. It's not as much pressure, I guess you can say. And I trust my staff. I trust my teammates to the fullest extent.
Defensively, certainly Albany Facel behind the plate, and I found out she leads the country in caught stealing percentage. When you've got all of those pieces around you and then all that support from the coaches in the dugout, it is a true team, is it not?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Albany's awesome. I trust her with everything. I'll throw balls in the dirt, and I know she's going to block them up for us. She's such a great leader behind there. And so are all my other teammates. We have a lot of leadership, and we all bring different things to the table that make us successful.
Mobile coming up this weekend, then the conference tournament, then you plan on being back home for an opening round, hosting. All those things lay out ahead of you, but you got to go out and continue to play well for those all to come to fruition and have a chance to win a tournament championship at well. Talk about the mindset of the team right now heading in to what is the big postseason run.
We just have to keep our eyes on the prize. Sure, we've got regular season championships, but we can't be settled, and we're not okay with just having that. So we're going to go out, keep our eyes set on a national championship. That's what we want. So.
All right, well, that was Ryan Hornsby catching up with Josh earlier today, but you can tell that championship mentality is right there. They're not satisfied.
What raised your eyebrows the most of those two interviews? Because I know what it was for me. It was that last statement by Ryan Hornsby. We won a national championship.
That's true.
I mean, that's something you don't jump to that. First year coach back. Team's been up and down the last few years. But then for some of those players that they're seniors and this is their last go, that they're not content but with a national championship. They've got the talent to do it.
Oh, sure. They do. I think it's going to come down to, can their hitting reach streaks as the season moves on? Because they've had some dead times here and there where they've won some 1-0 type games, or they've just had to gut out some victories here and there. But the race to Columbus, Georgia, right there, right for the taking for William Carey. To me, I think likely a host right now. We may talk about the hosting discussions as it relates to softball and baseball when we come back. Still to come, recap of the weekend of baseball as they drop to Thomas University on the road in Georgia. We'll recap that when we come back.
You're tuned in to Crusader Talk on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and SuperTalkHattiesburg.com.
All right, wrap it up with you here on Crusader Talk. Good talk all the way around, from Victoria Vieten at the start of the show from women's tennis to clips you just heard from Ryan Hornsby and Coach Wendy Hogue, all in regards to their regular season SSAC championship. Technically, baseball's still in the hunt for a regular season title. Going to take some help, but could happen.
But there were a lot of question marks with baseball going into this
so
year.
many. This was, let's be honest, this was a rebuilding year on paper because of all the talent you lost from last year's team going into the offseason. And, this team does lack power. Let's be frank about it. There's very little, power hitting in there. The slugging percentage is not there, but you have some scrappy guys that get on base, and you have a really talented pitching staff when it comes to your starters. Bullpen at times has made Carey crumble a bit, but at the same time, you've got guys that go out there and are just fighters. And one that's been a fighter all season long, we mentioned him last podcast, was Matthew Davis. And unfortunately for him, just didn't have his best outing against a really good and improved Thomas team. To me, a Thomas team in last year looked very similar to what Carey kind of looks like this year. Their team last year, when they came to Hattiesburg, hit just about all singles. They probably had 15 to 20 hits, and probably 18 were singles. And because of that, they didn't score many runs. They didn't have that big power alley swing or a home run here or there that helped them knock in runs. And that's kind of been what's missing for Carey, except for DJ Booth, who's batted in a ton of runs for Carey. That's why he's in the leadoff spot now, just because they need him up there in the clutch more often than not. But that said, as the standings appear to us right now, Abraham Baldwin is the leader of the group, all alone in first place by a game at 17-7. Closely behind them, Thomas at 16-8, and then William Carey and Loyola are tied for third at 15-9. This is the breakdown, and the SSAC put out a graphic of all the different spots that could be the final spots for the baseball teams. I'm trying to pull it up because William Carey is in the hunt for first place, but they could also finish as low as, I want to say, 5th. Let me double check that and make sure I'm not joshing you here. No pun intended. But they could finish, like I said, as high as 1st, but they could also finish as low as 7th, depending on how this weekend and other things across the league go. Abraham Baldwin could finish as low as 5th. Same thing with Thomas. Here's the thing. Abraham Baldwin coming up this weekend, Who did I say they have?
A-back is going to Tennessee Southern.
That's right, Tennessee Southern.
Thomas has got Bruton Parker.
That's a favorable series for them. If I had to guess, I would say Thomas is favored in at least 2 out of those 3 games. And if it came down to a tiebreaker between Abraham Baldwin and Thomas, A-back has that tiebreak. But this is what you hope for Carey. You, one, hope Bruton Parker just has a breakout weekend in Senior Day over there in Mount Vernon, Georgia. But 2, you have the tiebreaker over Loyola. You have the tiebreaker over A-back. You don't have it over Thomas. So if it all comes down to breaking ties and all that, Carey has a decent advantage except for, like I said, against the Nighthawks of Thomas. But that said, the other thing you have to worry about is what's at the bottom of the league. And you have 3 teams fighting for their postseason lives this weekend. And the one team that you face on your home field this weekend, I say weekend, Thursday, Friday, is Blue Mountain, one of those teams looking for that final spot. We were in this exact same position 2 years ago, Josh. Blue Mountain was fighting for their postseason lives. They came into William Carey, and they pick up the wins to do that. They upset William Carey on their home field on Senior Day. We didn't think we were going to see another game at Milton Wheeler. Strangely enough, Carey was still able to host that year. But as a 2 seed, when MacU and Oklahoma Wesleyan, and I believe Milligan may have been the 4th team coming through, were all in town. But that said, kind of got embarrassed on your home field because Blue Mountain had something to play for. William Carey really didn't at that point. But you have to be thinking right now, you're not in control of who gets the number 1 seed. It's going to take some help. But you play the games that are in front of you. You try to bounce back as Matthew Davis looks to try to rebound and pick up his 10th win of the year on Thursday night. It's a shorter rest for him ahead of the SSAC tournament coming up the week after. But think about this. He had been on a 9-game winning streak since that opening day loss to the Masters. And so since then, he has not been responsible for a loss up until the game on Friday against Thomas. So there's no evidence to say that Davis is going to fall into a pitching slump, if you will. Can't rule it out, but at the same time, the numbers would point to you that Davis is likely to get back to his roots coming back home against Blue Mountain. So I've been doing a lot of the talking, but we still have the possibility of talking about a baseball championship at some point, Josh, whether it be a regular season or even the SSAC tournament.
Who do you project as Friday afternoon, evening starters this weekend?
Obviously Davis is going to be going on Thursday. I think they're going to stay true to what we saw on the weekend at Thomas because Carey was right there, right for the taking in that 7-inning game, lost 6-5. They had a 5-4 lead going into the bottom of the 6th, just couldn't hold it out as Thomas got 2 runs there. And just lost by 3 in Game 3. So I would say Davis starts Game 1. Probably still going to be Josh McCord Game 2 in the shorter game. And then Game 3, you might throw Blaze Lalonde. I don't know. You don't have a midweek game this week, so you could see him come out. Gage Hennett is likely a piece they'll use at some point in the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. Well, we'll recap that one next time. For Josh and Dalton, I'm Caleb. Good night. God bless, and go Sailors.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.